the IT building here at TekLAN, a Smash Ultimate tournament about to go down. We're here at the start of the first match.
I'm very excited to see what happens. What about you?
I'm excited too. This is the first time I've commentated a tournament of this magnitude.
Me as well.
Really excited to be here tonight.
This is a tournament that's being currently held at Georgia Southern University. It is a charity tournament supporting Eagles for Eagles, which is a charity organization done by Georgia Southern to help students who are struggling financially.
Okay, that's a very interesting aspect to this tournament. I'm really glad that we were able to pull this together, holding it for a good cause tonight, playing some Smash, enjoying ourselves. Everyone's really going to give it their all tonight. I'm hoping it's going to be an exciting night.
I personally, I love to play, but I'm not amazing competitively. But
Me neither.
To be completely honest, the atmosphere here tonight is just absolutely amazing.
I think it's a great atmosphere. All these players here, each one looking to come up on top, but really the main goal is to have fun. That's an atmosphere you can feel at a Smash Brothers tournament.
Absolutely, and to me, I'm just so excited looking at this turnout. I mean, obviously you guys can't see it, but we're looking at a room of at least 200 people right now. So for a small college tournament, the turnout is absolutely amazing.
I mean, I have been seeing flyers plastered on every highway and hedge across this university campus. I am sure the advertisement for this tournament really went to the max. A lot of people, knowing that this is happening, coming out here to have some fun tonight. Who wouldn't come?
Now this is interesting. So the stream just went live, but we just watched a friendly between Tadashi and Ziap, the two that are about to start competing. Now Tadashi just switched his main. During his friendly, he was competing as Palu, but we see now he's selected DK.
I mean, this guy, Tadashi, I went to high school with this young man here. He is a good friend of mine, and I have seen him play DK since the days of Super Smash Brothers for Wii U.
Yeah,
truly a character he has mastered. I think he's going to use it very well tonight in Smash Brothers Ultimate.
I agree. I just think it's very interesting how diverse the two characters are, because as everybody knows, DK is a heavy and Palu most definitely is not.
Oh no, do not ask her about her weight. She's a goddess. She'll get angry about those kind of things. She'll smite you.
I really hope that he's about to select Wii Fit Trainer. That'd be absolutely incredible to see somebody compete.
Wii Fit Trainer in tournaments is truly never a dull moment. What I would like to see tonight is for someone to use the plant, our newcomer, Piranha Plant. Use the plant, bring him to the top.
Absolutely.
Now, as we see here, Tadashi has reverted back to Palutena, I guess, deciding against DK in the final hour here.
To be completely honest, I probably would have made the same move. To see him warm up with a character and switch back over to DK was honestly surprising.
Truly. Now we see here these characters trading blows in neutral, either trying to get the edge over the other. Inkling having a very good dash, a very good moveset, a lot of easy ways to get some damage in the start of this match. Palutena holding her own, warping around, trying to dodge these blows, not get caught up in these combos.
I love how confrontational these players are early on. As we saw in their friendly, they both kind of stayed away from each other.
Yeah, neither one really running away, both going head on against each other.
Absolutely just trading blows. Ooh, that was really strong.
Ziap having the lead here with less damage, but anyone could have this match here. Now that very combo takes Palutena to the blast zone, taking the first stock of tonight.
That's always so exciting. That must be a rather rewarding feeling, because I believe that that stage number 1 is the only one currently competing, so that means that Ziap did take the first stock of the entire tournament.
Truly, and the match that we watched earlier was a friendly. Nothing counted there, but here it is playing for all the marbles.
All the money, baby, all the money.
Speaking of which, tonight we do have some awesome prizes on the line from the Tech Board. That is what I've been hearing, so these players are competing for a prize.
I heard that and Tadashi takes one of Ziap's stocks. Now, something that I do love about the way they did the Inkling character is I love that their opponent stays with the ink on them for a little bit.
Truly, if you've ever played Splatoon, then you know what this effect is all about. You do not want to get inked. And in this game, once you're inked, you will take more damage from your opponent's blows, so you do not want to be inked. But many of Inkling's attacks will lay that ink on you. It's really one of the things that an Inkling player is going to shoot for.
Yes, absolutely. Now, one thing that I have noticed that a lot of players are excited about. Oh, that was a great move by Ziap.
Ziap having a very nice and comfortable lead right now, but as I've said, anything can happen.
Now, our pool rounds are being done as best of 3, but our top 8 we are going to move into best of 5. For those of you who have not seen the GT, we do have about 72 people competing at the moment, I do believe. I think we might be taking some extra late registration because this is a charity tournament, so the whole purpose is to raise money.
Truly.
But one thing that we are going to struggle with is that we actually only have our building until 2 in the morning, so we have to make sure that we finish the entire tournament by then.
It will be a bit of a time crunch, but as we've both said already, this is a packed palace tonight. This whole room is full of people playing Smash, people spectating, quite the turnout. I am super excited about that. I'm hoping we can get this wrapped up in time.
Absolutely.
Tadashi here hanging on, but just got buried. But no follow-up from Ziap.
Tadashi just needs to land a blow. He's got to equal out those stocks right now.
Yeah, really, that is his number one priority. He's staying comfortably far away from his opponent, throwing out some of those ranged attacks Palutena does best. And a stock taken from his opponent, evening the stocks, but Tadashi at a very dangerous percentage right now.
He's just going to have to make sure that the Ziap can't land any blows right now, because how high that percentage is.
Any blow really could finish the job, and we just saw the finishing blow there. A berry combo from Ingling.
So Ziap took the first stock of the tournament and the first win.
Truly. Inkling using that notorious berry that side B roller can land.
I love this Inkling skin's color palette. The pink and the green just look beautiful together.
Truly.
That's one thing that I've often commented on some of my friends is that Smash Ultimate is a very visually appealing game.
I think it's really kind of stunning looking back on the last one, like Smash for Wii U. That was the first HD Smash game.
Absolutely.
At the time, it looked phenomenal, but now that you've seen Ultimate, going back to that game, it looks like crap. It really looks like something from the Stone Age.
To the Smash 4 lovers, don't crucify me, but I just think that there's no comparison between how pretty Smash Ultimate is compared to Smash 4.
Smash Ultimate still being quite the new game, still very exciting for a lot of people, myself included. I just can't help but marvel at it.
I love how quickly it was picked up, though. As compared to Smash 4, I mean, Smash 4 did take off to some extent, but, you know, it's not nearly as popular as Melee. It just never took off my Melee.
It really didn't have a lot going for it, but that's something the developers of this game really took notice of, trying to make it more of a competitive esport, and something I would really comment on as a positive change from Smash for Wii U to Ultimate is the number of stages that can really be played on in a tournament setting. As we see here, this is Kalos Pokemon League, a stage that was not tournament competitive at all back in the Smash for Wii U days, due to some huge Pokemon that would come out and try to interfere with the battle, but here with hazards turned on, it makes for a very nice setting.
I'm so glad that they decided to change that as well because of how beautiful and how visually stunning this stage is. I mean, the stained glass itself and the colors that they used are insane. Now we do see Tadashi started off this with a little bit of a lead, but let's see if he can take this game.
This match looking very even right now for the most part. It could be anyone's first stock.
I wonder if Tadashi just needed that first round to warm up.
It could be. I mean, at a tournament in this setting, nerves are a common occurrence, but Ziap does take the first stock. Tadashi looking now most definitely to get a stock from his opponent and even this match back out.
We are seeing quite a lot of shielding in this match. I always think that that's rather interesting is when you can see,
Ziap cannot quite make it to the ledge. A stock taken from him on his own account.
That's so frustrating personally, is whenever you, especially when you have a rather even match, or in Ziap's case, he had a slight advantage, but he wasted that advantage a little bit just by not being able to recover.
Oh, and there's nothing more frustrating than when you're almost to the ledge, you're almost there. You could reach up and grab it, but you're not quite able to.
Well, and one of the things is, as a Peach main, that's so frustrating is, especially if you've gotten pushed off and you're using that up B, if you're not facing the right way, Peach will not grab the ledge, so.
That is a great element of frustration with both Peach and Daisy. I personally prefer Daisy, but in the recent months, I have been picking up Daisy, really one of the characters that I've been most excited to try out. Does not play much differently from Peach, but I've been enjoying her presence in this game.
Absolutely. And I think it's so interesting to see the underground nature of Daisy and how definitely in 4 Daisy was not nearly as popular of a player, but now there seems to be almost a cult following of her in Ultimate.
And Daisy Vance do not number in very high amounts, but they are vocal, and they're
very vocal.
They're very passionate about this character that they've chosen as their favorite. Now this match right now looks very even, but we have just seen Tadashi take a stock with that up air. Very strong killing potential with that move on Palutena.
Something that's very interesting that Ultimate does is, they'll have the red lightning, and but sometimes, it's just not enough. So you'll think that somebody's taken a stock when in fact they have not.
I've even seen some of the dramatic finish moments, when
Yes,
the last
the false
stock is about to
finishes.
be taken, and that close-up camera really makes you think, this is it, this is about to be it. But with a little bit of DI, with a little bit of luck sometimes, it just does not happen.
There were several very interesting moments at Genesis that involved false finishes where everybody thought the match was over, but
But
that
it's
was
not
the
quite.
case. That's why you just have to play until the game comes up on the screen.
Speaking of which, here in their neutral at the third stock,
This truly appears to be anybody's game. Ziap at a slight disadvantage.
Ziap no doubt knowing that if he can take this final stock, he will win the best 2 out of 3, eliminate Tadashi, and move on.
Now, even if Tadashi does lose his match, Tadashi still has an opportunity to make it to the finals. We do have a loser's bracket in this tournament, as it is a double elimination tournament. We're taking the top 16 from the winner's bracket and the top 16 from the loser's bracket.
Which ought to make it very interesting. So even if any player who loses in these first rounds, there still will be another chance to dominate in another bracket.
I'm always a fan of tournaments that are run in double elimination style, because to me, even that first initial loss can sometimes absolutely light a fire underneath the player.
Yeah, sometimes you need that little bit of extra motivation to move on. Palutena landing a very strong explosive flame, but does not quite get the kill, not quite the right angle coming out of that. But those goddess wings slam right
Yes!
into the opponent like a Mack truck, taking the final stock.
So that definitely that puts them at an even 1-1, going into the to the third match even.
Now this will be interesting to see who can net this match and take the best 2 out of 3.
Absolutely.
I wonder what stage they're going to choose.
Who has the stage selection? Is it Zia?
I do believe they're negotiating right now.
Oh, they're picking their music. I love that. The music, the selection of music element that they added to Smash Ultimate, I just think makes the game that much better, because some things, while some of the stages are beautiful, some of their music can be a little annoying.
It's always been a feature in Smash games to
Yes.
lower the occurrence of some of the more disliked or obnoxious tracks, but now you can actually choose, while you're choosing a stage, what specific track you would like to listen to.
And I just think it's an incredible feature that I think that shows that Nintendo really cares about their players' experience.
Yeah,
Now, one thing that people have commented on is the fact that Ziap is one of Nintendo's first characters of color.
indeed.
Yes. So the Inkling skin that they've added adds a little bit of diversity to the game.
And I've noticed that on a lot of different characters, such as Villager, such as Dark Pit. A few other characters have included some new skins that use darker or different skin tones than what you've seen in past Smash games.
Ooh, and Ziap coming with a slight lead in this Smash.
A friend and I do like to joke that the Dark Pit skin with darker skin is the darkest pit. But they really spared no expense in this game. The details that they've gone to are really phenomenal.
Absolutely. And one thing that is often a common thing with Nintendo is while they might not always go for realism, their games are always beautiful.
Yes. Now the first stock has just been taken from Tadashi, but Ziab at a very high percentage where any move could really net his first stock. Tadashi, no doubt looking for that stock.
Now Tadashi is starting to increase on that percentage, even though it is on his second stock, so it will be in his best interest to go ahead and take that stock from Ziap.
We see him playing it safe, trying to go for some ranged attacks that can take out Ziap without him really being in the line of fire to be taken himself. A Splat Bomb does nail him, and he is taken by a grab combo.
Oh, and
A back air just took that stock. Tadashi doing a little bit of the teabagging here. Got to work that in every now and then, kind of taunt your opponent in these little ways.
absolutely, but Ziap does have Tadashi's percentage rather high, and it is only his second stock, so Tadashi will want to definitely...
Yeah, clearly we've seen that he was in no position to boast after all, because now Ziap has a comfortable stock and damage lead against him.
But if we remember from the last round, Tadashi did get down to first stock before Ziap, but still took the match. So it is still anybody's game.
comebacks, upsets, anything can happen at a tournament like this between skilled players, so it is really just up to how these players can take advantage of whatever situation they're in and get the advantage.
Now, one thing that I do think is rather interesting that has become a new thing with the incorporation of the Joy-Cons is now we can see players competing in several different ways. Ziap is competing with his Joy-Con controller as opposed to Tadashi with the more traditional GameCube controller.
Maddie, what's your favorite control option in this game?
I would prefer the GameCube controller.
And the GameCube controller is a classic, seen as the only way to play Smash by a lot of people. I personally prefer the Joy-Con grip. I like that quick, snappy feel that the smaller control sticks provide.
I would agree, and I think that what's so interesting is not only do they have the Joy-Con grip, they also have the Pro Joy-Con grip controller, so that they increase the size, and then they also have the Pro controller for the Switch.
Indeed.
Another interesting thing is that the Switch has recognized that so many people use the GameCube controller that they've released an updated version of it.
A footstool almost taking Tadashi to the blast zone, but that notorious berry, again, that notorious berry combo out of Inkling, taking the final stock, and Ziap will advance in this bracket.
Ziap took a very comfortable win with only 39 on his last stock as his percentage. I am a little disappointed, I will not lie. I was a little biased going into this match, wanting Tadashi to win.
Oh, both of us knowing Tadashi personally, I wanted to see him come out on top, but may the best player win.
Absolutely, and hopefully, as a fan of Tadashi, I hope that he takes this loss as motivation, and we'll see him in the top 32, hopefully.
I would like to see that as well. I'm really rooting for him. I talked to him a lot about this tournament before it happened. He was one of the first people who knew that I was commentating, so.
Interesting. Okay, so next up, I believe we're going to be seeing Pup Curb versus Chef.
All right. Pup Curb, I wonder what his main is. I'm going to say Jigglypuff.
Yeah.
My guess is Jigglypuff.
I'm going to go with Rob.
It could be Rob.
Now, as many of you cannot see the room right now, we are competing in the IT building of our college, so I don't know if this room was built to accommodate this many people. It is rather packed.
Yeah, there is a large crowd, as we've said many times already, and the noise, really, you can hear all these people bustling about. I think there are multiple games being played in this room tonight, aside from just Smash.
Yes, we have 4 pools going on right now, so that means that there will be many different stations going on at the same time, and this is all for time efficiency purposes. Especially due to the fact that we hope to be able to run best of 5 for our top 8. We're trying to get everybody done as quickly as possible.
It's something that only time will be able to tell. By the time we get to that level, we'll have to gauge what kind of time we've got left to work with.
I'm hoping I'm still awake at that point because I'm going to be on camera. We started at 6:45, I believe, maybe 6:30, and I will be on camera at least until 2 a.m.
I, on the other hand, will be tapping out at 10 o'clock because I need my beauty rest.
And then when Benjamin leaves, we will be joined by our other co-host, AJ Hall.
Looking forward to see him on camera too. Good buddy of mine.
Absolutely. I love his hat.
He's wearing a very nice beanie tonight, Pokemon beanie. Wait till you see this, guys. It's something to look forward to for when AJ takes this chair.
Now, one thing that is a little difficult, we were just talking about, and is a con of the different player control options, is the element of connecting all of the controllers. So that is not necessarily the most time-efficient thing when it comes to running a tournament like this, because not only do players have to pair their controllers, they also then have to go in and set up their own individual control settings.
Indeed.
So that can be a little time-consuming.
And the way these Pro controllers connect, I believe it involves a vibration that the controllers actually emit, which has a certain frequency that the Switch listens for. Strange use of technology. I don't understand quite how that works, but I've had mixed feelings about that from the start.
I wonder why they're... oh yeah, they're going back into player control.
Yeah, these gamers, of course, entering their tags.
So let's see who this is. This is
entering the tag Steelix.
Steelix, I like that name. I'm trying to see where Steelix appears in our bracket.
Of course, these gamer tags may not entirely reflect the names that have been entered into the tournament bracket.
Which would make it very difficult for us.
Definitely does not make it easy for us commentators. It would really blow my mind to see anyone competing in this tournament with a sideways Joy-Con.
Absolutely. The only circumstance in which I would think that we might see that is if somebody left their controller at home.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what kind of control settings we're going to see here and what some of the more unconventional ones might end up being tonight.
Absolutely.
I mean, everyone likes to play Smash in their own slightly different way.
And that's one thing that I think that is makes the game so well loved is the fact that it does become such a personal thing.
It does. And everyone with their own little preferred selections, it will give them a slight advantage. It's something that everyone learns to play a little bit differently. They want that feeling of Smash the way they always played it.
I absolutely love how fighting games as a whole have developed. I mean, from starting with stuff like Street Fighter many, many years ago, we've now seen it turn into such a culture.
Yeah, and have you ever heard the story of Masahiro Sakurai getting the idea for Smash, how that came about?
No, I haven't.
Now, Masahiro Sakurai was a very godly player in the King of Fighters franchise, and he actually bodied somebody so hard at an arcade that he actually had the realization there are people out there, there are hacks who cannot play fighting games to save their lives because they're so complicated.
Right.
So he came up with this idea for a fighting game that could be played in a party setting that anyone can pick up and enjoy.
Absolutely. Now we see. Oh, I did not get to see. So Steelix is competing with Falco, and Toast is competing with Ness.
Now, what exactly is happening here? They are resetting this match for some kind of reason.
I'm unsure as to what it is. I like the no contest screen.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cute.
I think it's very funny analyzing the animations that the developers have given to each character for these unconventional situations, like clapping in the face of a loss, or when the tournament has decided to be no contest. They all have their own little personalized animations.
Now, one thing that I'm surprised that Nintendo has not, they did not fix in the patch, is the unfortunate thing that people have discovered that Falco will say when you mix some of his taunts.
Oh dear. Now this is something Nintendo, you'd think they would address right off the bat, but it's kind of hilarious to see that left in.
Of course we can't say it because we're trying to keep this stream PG, but if you don't know what we're talking about...
You can look it up for yourself.
Yeah, a quick Google or YouTube search will definitely let you know. Just look up Falco's taunts. Now it looks like Steelix is sticking with Falco and Toast is sticking with Ness.
I do believe these characters are going to stay the same. It was probably a stage choice flub that we saw here, if you ask me.
I'm a big fan of the gamer tag Toast, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I hope he's not Toast.
I hope he's not Toast.
His opponent might be Toast with that PK Fire action.
Absolutely.
Burning him up a little bit.
Ness is a very difficult character to compete against because of the range that some of his specials and his smashes.
But Falco will be well equipped to take on Ness in this matchup. With his reflector, he'll be able to deflect a lot of those projectiles that Ness and Lucas, too, these two characters rely on in a matchup.
Now, one thing that is very interesting is, you will sometimes encounter players who have an impeccable sense of timing, so that despite things like Ness's different powers, their shields just can't penetrate their shields.
Yes.
I wonder what the holdup is.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what's taking this match so long. It looks like they're getting set up over there. Everything looks all right to me.
I would think it would appear all right. And it appears we are ready to fight.
Let's see this match get off the ground.
Come here.
Of course, tonight being a time crunch, these kind of things worry me.
They do worry me slightly a little bit as well, but what I'm hoping is that these first couple of matches might be a little rough, but at some point we will address all of the technical difficulties so that after the first couple of matches they're going to get the hang of it and just be able to move right into it.
Tonight will be about keeping this ball rolling, making sure things are moving along smoothly.
I do think it was a bit of an interesting choice on the developer's perspective. For some of these characters have just skins to represent the different characters, but they did make Samus and Dark Samus two separate characters, so I do think that was interesting, as opposed to just making Dark Samus one of Samus's selected skins.
A very similar thing has happened with Peach and Daisy. Daisy originally being represented by a skin of Peach in the last few Smash games.
Now they do have the ready to fight screen up, but they've not been ready to go. Oh, I wonder what the holdup is.
Some kind of holdup is definitely keeping these fighters from getting their match off the ground. It makes me wonder what it is.
Now we can just keep talking about the characters. One thing that was surprising with the arrival of Smash Ultimate is the absolute cult popularity of the Animal Crossing character Isabelle.
Yes. When this character was revealed, I saw something of a polarizing reaction to this character.
Some people are very big fans of her, and other people don't like her in the game.
I think her cuteness makes up for a lot of the disappointment from that reveal. Where like a lot of people saw this reveal, thought she was nothing more than an echo of Villager, but she has a lot of unique things that she brings to the table.
She is a surprisingly powerful character. Now there was the whole meme that came out that if you go on Gucci's website, there is a sweater that looks very similar to Isabelle's sweater. So people were talking about how she's kicking some A in a $600 Gucci sweater.
Isabelle Wood.
We love an Animal Crossing character that loves to dress in style.
Now, a particularly funny joke that I found on the internet after Isabelle was included was that if you go online and you hurt Isabelle in any way, in any conceivable form during a match, your Nintendo account will be terminated because you are a monster.
I completely agree. She is so cute.
It's just such such a testament to the chaotic, uncertain nature of this game, almost absurd nature of Smash, that you can see Cloud Strife with a sword almost as big as he is, hammering Isabelle over and over.
What is player 2 doing with their controller?
I do not know what is happening with this match. Why isn't it starting?
This is just rather odd.
What's going on here?
You need to click continue session. Now,
what exactly is going on here? Has the stream?
No, the stream's fine. We're good. Just keep going. We're just making sure that the thing's
I'm sorry, we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Yeah, something apparently has gone awry in the technical side of this stream tonight. We're not quite sure what it is, but I think the stream is intact right now.
Now, personally, some characters that I would like to see compete tonight are, of course, as we've already said, Wii Trainer is a personal favorite of mine, so I would love to see somebody pick Wii Trainer, as well as any of the Mii characters. I think it's awfully fun to see people compete with the Mii characters.
Yeah, the way Miis are really being legitimized as a character in this game as opposed to past iterations.
As well as I love how customizable they are. So
they are. The costumes, the way that you can pretty much take anyone and put them into the game.
Exactly.
If you can make a Mii of it, it can be a fighter. That can settle a lot of qualms that people have of characters not being included.
Speaking of qualms, I've heard lots of people who are excited about how they have changed Zelda's character for this game. She's been not only made to look a lot prettier in this game, she's more powerful as well.
Yes, and more emotive. I really did not like the Twilight Princess version of Zelda for being sort of a calm, cold, emotionless kind of princess, whereas Zelda really has much more character than that. As you will know, if you played any of the more recent games, classics like, in addition to classics like Link to the Past or like Breath of the Wild, truly a versatile character with a great big personality.
I think that Breath of the Wild was an absolutely stunning release on the Switch. If you have not played the game, I would recommend it. It's one of the most stunning games, I think, probably ever.
Yeah, the Game of the Year award that it won was well-deserved.
Very well-deserved. Some of the different stages, like when they would go do temples and you're interacting with all the different colors and stuff, I just think is absolutely amazing.
And I'm glad to see Link represented in this game in his Breath of the Wild attire.
Now, one of the things that I do think is interesting is the fact that they do have Link and Young Link as separate characters.
Yes, that's something that no one really saw coming. Young Link being kind of a character that people thought was lost to the sands of time.
Absolutely.
Not really necessary as an inclusion, but yet he was made an inclusion anyway because Sakurai decided with this game to put everyone who had ever competed in the Smash games in the past back into the fight.
I am a big fan of Sheik's character, personally. I know that technically Sheik and Zelda are the same people. Sorry, spoiler alert if you haven't played the Zelda games.
If you don't know it, you've been living under a rock. What can I say?
But I do think that it's very interesting that they added both characters.
Yeah, they have really been differentiated from one another. Back in the Melee days, they were a transformation fighter. The Down B special was to transform between Sheik and Zelda.
Right.
So they have been kind of split apart, transformed into their own unique fighters, which I think is a welcome change, because it was always a little bit tedious selecting the one that you preferred.
Now, Zelda's Phantom Special is absolutely incredible to watch him fight. I'm hoping we see we see a player choose Zelda tonight.
And that is a special that she was able to gain by the differentiation that happened between her and Sheik.
Right.
Now that down B is not needed to transform between these two characters, it can be a unique move for both of them. Sheik, on the other hand, gained the bouncing fish special.
Oh, I believe we're getting a cue that players might be ready to go.
All right, it's about time to see this match get off the ground.
I'm sure y'all are ready to hear us stop talking about various other games and want to see us talk about the game that you're here to watch us commentate.
And we can ramble on for all night tonight if we need to, until the cows come home.
Absolutely.
But personally, I would rather have some Smash action happening
I would like to
here.
see some Smash.
Yes!
Yes.
Wish
yes.
granted.
Thank you. All right, we're about to see Toast as Ness and Steelix as Falco. All right, we see Steelix starting out. Ooh, Foxtrot. Ooh, and Toast lands a few hits.
Now, both of these characters will know, certainly, that there is a pressure against each of them. Ness knowing that Falco can throw out his reflector against any projectile he has, and Falco knowing that Ness possesses that absorption vortex that will take in all of his lasers.
Now, not to be mean, but Toast is absolutely bodying Steelix in the first 30 seconds of this match.
Falco not really knowing what to do. Steelix being hammered by blow after blow, and his first stock was just taken. Toast sitting comfortably at 28% right now.
It just seems to me right now that Steelix has no idea. Well, I take that back. It appears that he has landed a few blows on Toast.
Steelix getting his head in the game, landing some blows against his opponent.
I would personally hope so with how quickly that Toast was able to eliminate that first stock.
But Toast quickly working up to evening the damage again while he has a stock advantage. Falco going dangerously near the blast zone.
Now Toast lands a good hit. Steelix is back up in the red. Oh, and now it seems to be pretty even on this one.
And one of the most fearsome blows that Ness can deal to his opponent is with that back air, the back throw rather. Definitely something that Ness will be fishing for here. Toast looking for that kill. You can definitely see Falco adapting to that notion where he does not want Toast to get near enough to get a grab.
Now we see Steelix and Toast at rather similar percentages, but we do have to keep an and Toast eliminates another stock on Steelix, and he is still a 3 stock.
With that notorious back throw, no less.
I really hope for Steelix's sake that he does not get 3 stocked in this match.
Humiliating fate, indeed. Steelix trying to get that kill. Any move could really take this stock at this point. And a combo takes him off the top.
So at least at this point, that saves Steelix from a 3 stock fate.
Truly a humiliating fate to suffer at a tournament like this.
Especially as somebody who has many friends who are absolutely amazing at this game. It's not uncommon for me to do that during friendlies, but it is just definitely not something that you want to happen to you at a tournament with so many people watching.
I personally cannot ever go up against my brother. My brother is truly a beast at this game. I'm surprised. I would be surprised, honestly, if he's not competing tonight. I haven't heard his word officially, but we'll see.
Now,
if he shows
Steelix
up.
lands a few blows on Toast, but Toast still has the advantage.
And Toast sitting comfortably at 2 stocks with his opponent at 1. But Steelix, with a decent enough rally, could even this match. Parrying that PK fire expertly, going for a kill off the ledge, and a dunk from the side B. Ness cannot quite recover.
Now that is disappointing because that did take a bit of probably took a bit of Toast's comfort in this match, because as we saw in our first match with Tadashi versus Ziap, this looks a lot. Ooh, and Steelix lands a few blows and evens up the match to some extent.
Minute after minute, this is looking closer and closer to an even match. Toast now knowing that he was wrong to sit comfortably and really kind of kick back when in turn. But Steelix, he recovers. He makes it back.
That was a truly impressive recovery. I thought we were about to see the end of this match.
I'm rooting for Steelix right now, if I have to be honest. I don't want to be biased in this tournament, but what an upset this would be if at this percentage he could net a win.
My heart is absolutely beating. That was incredible.
These are the kind of matches I live for at tournaments like this. These are so exciting to watch.
That's one reason that I particularly love pools. I know many of my friends skip the pool.
Oh! A parry combo. Toast does net the win. securing a win that for a moment it really looked like he was letting slip through his fingers.
Now, I'll be interested to see how the next match goes, because to me it seemed that, similar to Tadashi in our first match, that Steelix warmed up a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of a wake-up call for both players here this match, because Toast knows he cannot sit comfortably, even at a large lead, because mix-ups, any kind of comeback can happen here.
Well, people too have to recognize that additionally that there are several players who did not get the opportunity to warm up. So while I don't know personally who got to warm up versus who didn't, it could just be that Steelix didn't have the opportunity and took that opportunity to hone his skills. Hopefully, we'll see a bit more of a neutral match.
Yes, but what a nail-biter that last game was.
Absolutely. It truly just demonstrates how skillful some of these players are to see that.
Yeah, and grace under pressure is really something that it really benefits a Smash player like this in a tournament setting
Most
to
definitely.
possess. Even when it looks like you are about to lose, you cannot lose that calm. You've got to keep fighting. You can't let your opponent scare you.
Most definitely. I'm glad that there are so many people in this tournament, because I know for some people it's easy to psych players out due to the fact that they can hear the commentators, but I think we're far enough away that they won't be able to hear what we're saying.
Yes, definitely something to think about here.
I really would hope not to psych out either player due to my comments, and we see the match begins.
I mean, something that can really get to players, I know, is the roar of this crowd as
Absolutely.
each phenomenal combo or blow that takes a stock is rewarded with a massive roar from these adoring fans here.
Now, Toast did land the first few blows of this match, but now we see that Steelix has taken advantage.
Steelix getting quite the advantage over his opponent.
Oh, and did we see that? Oh.
A bit of an opposite situation to the way the last match started out, honestly.
I personally love to see the interactions of players off stage. For me, it always gets my heart beating, because you never know if you will have that unfortunate situation of a player not being able to recover and make it back to the stage or not.
Toast playing a bit conservatively, trying to use his position underneath those platforms to get some hits, and he lands a strong forward air there.
I personally think that one of the Toast's strength in the last match was
Steelix nets a stock.
I personally think that one of Toast's advantages in the last game was the fact that he was not playing conservatively. I think that he took Steelix warming up towards the end of that match as a bit of a threat and is now playing a bit more conservatively, but I think that that's not to his advantage at all, as we see that Steelix is...
Steelix just taking nets to the blast zone, getting him dangerously close. What a turnaround. Toast with a back air, taking the stock from his opponent.
I love seeing stuff like that. That's one of the things that I truly think makes Smash great, is you never know what's going to happen.
Now what we just saw was Toast using his absorption vortex to take a laser from Falco and convert it into a little bit of healing energy. Something I'm surprised we have not seen quite so often in this match. Trying to harass his opponent with a PK Thunder, but expertly avoided by Steelix here.
I think it's funny that sometimes, when you get in that competitive environment, sometimes it's easy to forget what moves you have at your fingertips. So you'll often see players use the same moves over and over again, and then remember that they have...
A stock just taken by a phenomenal spike.
Toast sitting comfortably right now with that extra stock, similar to the last match. Let's hope he does not lose it.
Yeah, truly a stock lead, as we've seen, is not quite enough for a player to be able to sit comfortably. He's got to stay on his toes. Being at this percentage level, any blow from Steelix here could take this stock and even the match back out.
Absolutely. I hope we just see that. I do think that over the last couple of minutes we've seen Toast get back into a bit more offensive play as opposed to being a bit more defensive and conservative like we saw at the beginning of this round.
But Steelix getting closer and closer to a percentage that might end his final stock. So he too has got to be a little bit wary.
Now Toast is starting to get up there in percentages at 155. He's got to be careful of.
Falco will be looking for this stock. No doubt using some moves that can end Toast's stock here.
Most definitely.
He will be fishing for a kill that he just got with a forward air, executed nicely.
Now, while Steelix does have a slightly higher percentage than Toast, as we've seen so far today, that doesn't really mean anything.
He's trying to keep his distance from his opponent with some lasers, netting some combos when he can.
And he just landed a couple excellent blows on Toast. It looks
Steelix taking the percentages back up to a more even ratio between these two fighters.
Oh, and Steelix now has the advantage.
A smash attack does not quite hit. Toast throwing out that nasty back air, but not near enough for a kill at this percentage.
And in this last stock, we see this just became a lot more neutral. Very similar to the last game.
That back air netting the final stock. Steelix defeated in the last minute here.
So I believe that is a 2-0 Toast.
Toast just took 2 matches in a row.
So Toast now moves on into the winner's bracket, and Steelix drops down into the loser's bracket. Now, like you said, I don't like to be biased, but I was rooting for Steelix there towards the end because I love an underdog. So I'm hoping he does well.
I love to root for an underdog too. I usually, when the Super Bowl rolls around, I will usually root for the underdogs. I was rooting for the Rams.
I was as well. At this point, when I watch the Super Bowl, it's anybody but the Patriots.
Yeah, they've won enough.
Exactly. I just like to see. I'd like to see the winners switch up a little bit.
Same with Smash tournaments like this. Like I usually root against an opponent who's going up against a mighty monster such as Zero or any player like that that's won enough. I like to see a new face get some wins.
I agree. I like to see your more underground players that you might not necessarily heard of. And one thing that I think is very interesting about the Smash community in general is in bigger tournaments, you'll often see those smaller players rise up and break out.
Yeah, it can be a great way for a player to really get into the scene, gain some notoriety.
Now, one thing that I thought was very interesting, if you watch some of the footage from Genesis, is the international aspect that Smash has taken on now as well, where we saw many international players at that tournament. Now, I am wondering if we're going to have the same type of time gap as we did between the last match, or maybe our we have the technical aspect figured out. So
yes, it looks like some of the next players have already taken their position here to start the match. Hopefully, we do not have quite the holdup, but if we do, we've got plenty of other things to discuss here. We can keep talking until the cows come home if we need to.
Now, let us see what's going on here. Hey, Jake. I'm trying to talk to our tournament runner to see where we can access the bracket. It's nice to see what players are going to be competing on the stage beforehand, before we see them enter their names. But as we're seeing right now, we're going to watch them enter their name anyway. So. What pool is on stage 1 so we can see what players are competing?
Pool 2, match, winners quarterfinals.
Okay.
All right, so this match is between, who have we got here?
Griffindork and Generations.
All right.
Oh, I like the smiley face.
He has entered the gamer tag Smiley Face.
So I believe that Generations will be the smiley face and Dork will be Gryffindor.
It does seem to be that way. Both these characters setting up the controls that work best for them.
Go. Over there. All the way in. Killer.
That was quite the amounts of contemplation about Rumble there, if you ask me.
I wonder if he just got his attention stolen by something briefly, or
could be.
Maybe he just was highly contemplating whether or not he wanted to have that haptic feedback.
I mean, we do have some loud shouts happening here in this room as one of our event coordinators, Elvis Mack, is announcing what fighter needs to go where, making this tournament run smoothly.
Now, one thing that we do have in place at this tournament is a 10-minute time frame for you to get to your station. So at some point during this tournament, if you do see a DQ, it'll either be to an in-game rule violation or potentially somebody not making it to their station on time.
Yes, if you do not show up, then you're not going to have a chance to fight because we need to keep this tournament running. We are in a bit of a time crunch tonight.
I personally don't mind that because, as we saw earlier, as commentators, it's a bit difficult to comment something that you.
When a match is not happening, then what is there to talk about?
Now, Gryffindork here is the president of the Smash Club at the college. Yes, that's Miles. Miles Griffin.
All right, then we're hoping to see some good action out of him tonight. He's getting a nice damage lead right now against his opponent, Wolf, using some of Yoshi's best assets in the air.
It's interesting to me that he selected Yoshi because while he does typically main Yoshi, he also recently has been very into Peach due to her many different technical aspects.
Yoshi has a lot of great utilities that he can make
we
use
see
of,
Yoshi.
but does suffer from a bit of a hampered recovery,
And
which we just saw in action.
And we see, I forgot, what is Smiley Face's name?
Smiley Face, that would be, who's here in the brackets?
That'd be Generations.
Generations using the gamertag Smiley, but Dork has just taken another stock, evening out this match a little bit. Now, Wolf has been one of my favorite characters that I've seen in action in this new game, Ultimate, returning from his Brawl appearance with some new changes, a new aesthetic look.
Now, one thing is that, while Gryffindork does quite enjoy, he does enjoy the new Smash Ultimate game, his specialty really is Melee.
And Melee does play a lot differently from this game.
Yes, it does.
With the amounts of glitches, with the amount of strange little techniques, the speed, a lot of different aspects that show how much this series has evolved.
And Generations takes another stock from Dork.
Your bet rate is flying all
Dork had a bit of a disadvantage right now, suffering from Wolf and his strong blows over and over again. Wolf able to keep some combos up.
Now, I'm hoping to see a bit more of an even match from Dork because he did place 4th in our local tournament that we had 2 weeks ago at the college.
Okay, all right.
Truly a player that I can tell has the skill needed for a tournament like this, but just not quite delivering. But a forward smash just takes a stock, evening this back up stock-wise, but at a large damage percentage like this.
So
Dork
it just
could
means
die.
that Dork is going to have to be very careful about the blows that Generations lands on him.
You'll have to anticipate where Wolf is going to throw out his moves. That's a huge part of Smash, being in your opponent's head.
One thing that I do see right now that is a little atypical for Gryffindork is he's typically rather good at anticipating his opponent's attacks and shields, but as we can see, he's not really representing that in this match.
No, maybe Yoshi was a poor choice in this matchup. You've been saying that he has experimented with Peach, who is a very high-tier character in this game from a lot of analysts' perspective. And Wolf really just kind of having his way, but Dork getting some combos, taking Wolf up to the blast zone.
Evening up this match just a little bit. Now, we do see Generations consistently landing those good hits on Dork, so...
Dork will have to look out for that recovery and the way that he's over that yawning void quite a lot, and he may not have the tools to escape if he gets into a dire situation there.
Absolutely, and we'll see one of Gryffindor's strategies is he often likes to play off stage, but that's obviously not working in his favor right now, especially with some of Yoshi's recovery limitations.
And that strong back throw from Wolf can kill, and we just saw it happen at 180 damage.
I'll be interested to see if Gryffindor stays with Yoshi or switches over to that Peach, like I said.
If I were a betting man, I would say we're about to see a character change. He may need a new approach if he wants to gain an advantage over his opponent here. Sometimes that can make all the difference. If you're going in and you have this one character selected and it's not really getting you any rewards, sometimes you need to start over with a different one.
Absolutely. That's why I always recommend when my friends start playing the game, I say, have your... Oh, and we see him picking Yoshi again. Maybe he's staying confident.
No character changes here.
Now, one thing that I always tell my friends when they are starting to play the game is, yes, pick your main, get a character that you're comfortable with, but additionally, have somebody else that you can play just, if not just as well, that you're comfortable with. So in case you have a matchup that's not as strong, you do have somebody to fall back on.
Indeed, that's very important.
Who's your fallback character?
My fallback character, my main, of course, is Ridley. I was super psyched to play him when he was announced for this game. I've loved him 100%. My fallback character, I do believe, would be Cloud.
Okay.
Cloud covers a lot of situations that I really enjoy.
Now, I main Peach, but my fallback character would be Zelda. I just love her teleport. Now,
Yeah.
we see that this match has started off pretty evenly. Dork and Generations dealing some pretty equal blows here.
Trading attacks here in the neutral, gaining closer and closer, though, to the kill percentages where a stock could be taken.
Oh.
And Wolf throwing out a smash attack here, taking a stock from Dork. Generations gaining the stock lead here.
Now, one thing that I would say is a bit of a player tick that Dork does that I don't necessarily know if is an advantage for him is you will see him foxtrot quite a bit, and I don't see that working as an advantage for him often. I think it sometimes can even be a disadvantage.
Oh, but speaking of disadvantages, Generations throwing out Wolf's side B and landing himself in a sticky situation from which there is no escape.
So we see the stock-wise we're now evened up, but Generations is doing a rather good job keeping Dork in those high percentages.
Using those mighty lasers from Wolf's neutral B, keeping him at bay off the stage when he knows Dork is at a disadvantage in a situation that it is tough for him to escape as a character with a recovery like Yoshi's.
Now, I thought there for just a second that Generations might have taken another stock, but we didn't see that.
The Red Lightning did lie in this situation. Being up at the top corner in the diagonal zone, it is a bit difficult to net a kill. And sometimes characters you will see going toward that top corner of the stage to get a little bit more distance in which they can live.
Now we see that Generations has taken Dork down to 1 stock, so it looks as though while he is in the high percentages with 2 stocks, at this point, I'm just not seeing it on Dork's perspective, to be completely honest.
But Dork hammering his opponent with blow after blow, keeping him off the stage, but Wolf does recover, makes it back to the center of the stage.
Wolf is just playing so aggressively in this match that I'm not seeing the same type of aggression coming from Dork right now.
That can be a bit of a difficult thing to handle as the person on the receiving end of those pain trains that Wolf can run on his opponent with strong combos of attack after attack.
Now, Dork does have Generations up at a rather high percentage, but we do have to keep in mind that they're both at a high percentage, and Dork is at 1 stop.
Yes. Now, an attack here, any attack really could end the match here. And a smash thrown out, but not quite enough for a kill. Dork saving his recovery with an egg.
Oh.
Wolf going for it all here, and Dork at a stage where he cannot quite make it back. There were no options left for him at that point.
That has to be so frustrating that in a tournament as competitive as this to lose your match to falling off the stage.
Wolf played very smartly there. Generations using that up air, that up B rather, to put Yoshi a little bit off to the side and land him in a situation he just could not escape.
So, while Generations did 2-0 Dork, I do hope we'll see Dork later on in this tournament.
Again, as we've been saying, sometimes all you need is a little bit of a wake-up call. Sometimes a loss can motivate you into a victory.
I'm personally hoping that our next match might be a little bit energetic. I'm a big fan of crowd energy, and in that last match, we didn't see a lot of crowd energy, similar to the energy that we saw in Tadashi's match versus Ziap or Toast versus Steelix.
Toast versus Steelix, that is the match that has really gotten me to the top of my game as a commentator tonight. Really phenomenal playing, and I want to see more matches like that. Matches where it's hard to call the victor.
Most definitely. I love when it's just an absolute nail-biter and you don't know who's going to win.
Yeah. Much more entertaining in any case to watch a match like that.
And I think it's so interesting how Wolf's character almost shakes on this screen, if you'll see.
Yeah.
It's very similar to, they did a good job with the character animation, because anybody who does have a dog knows that when a dog gets very angry, they do shake very similar to that.
Wolf is a canine here as a wolf, hence his name.
Yes.
Now, I think Wolf has suffered a bit of a nerf aesthetically from his voice.
Yeah.
In Brawl, he had that gritty space pirate type, I'm gonna be the one to take you down. And in this game, he's like, are you scared?
Yeah.
Like, he's just some kind of edgelord kind of sounding now. I think that's not quite near as iconic as the Wolf we all know and love. I'm a huge fan of the Star Fox franchise. Star Fox 64 is a game I've played a lot. He is an amazing villain.
Now, I don't know any of the Star Fox characters from the game, in general. I know them all from Smash, but I would completely agree I think that they just took his intimidation factor down a little bit in Ultimate.
Yeah, he's not quite as intimidating as he was, which is a little sad to see. I think the same can be said of Falco and Fox as well. Their voices in past iteration of this game were just so much more iconic, and now they're a little bit lacking.
So now we're moving into our next round. Let's see who we are going to be playing.
The gamer tag, yep, being entered here.
Now I'm interested to see that he changed that jump on his trigger, but he has not changed any of the jumps down there, so he has quite a many jump options on this control setting.
Yes, maybe this is a player who really likes to have that versatile, multiple eggs in multiple baskets kind of approach.
I completely agree, but and he's selecting his meat fight. I'm gonna get to see a Mii fighter. I said that earlier.
Yes, this is one of your wishes for this tournament being fulfilled. I still have not had my main wish fulfilled, that being seeing a plant in a match.
Yes, we want to see a plant and we want to see a Wii Fit trainer. So if you're competing in this tournament and you're watching this stream, please pick one of the two.
Yeah, play bingo, if you will. Start predicting these events, and as they happen, you can check them off your card.
Absolutely.
The name is just me. I think one of the main disadvantages, though, not really a disadvantage, but something that disappoints me about Miis in tournaments, is the real lack of the ability to use a Mii that